Hey YouTubers, been a while since my last video. Been kind of busy, getting ready to do some maintenance on the 55-gallon tank, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to step you guys through some of the processes that come along with having a planted tank. Since you got live plants, and since I use injected CO2 and fertilizers and high light, the plants tend to grow pretty quick. So we're going to take a quick look at my overgrown tank and do a little walkthrough on all the processes involved in trimming the plants down and getting them back in to a decent looking scenario. So let's get started. So here you can see that everything is quite overgrown. I got the pennywort that is actually about 3 layers high. It's actually growing down now instead of up. Actually, the tiger lotus is looking pretty jamming right there. I like that. But taking a look at the Ludwigia cuba and the Ludwigia repens, you can see that it's bent over. It's laying over on its side now for thing. And the Rotella indica needs to have a little bit of a trim itself. The Blixa japonica down here doesn't really look like it, but I'm going to probably take a couple handfuls of that out, and you won't even notice it's gone. So here's the overall tank, and we'll take it from here. Okay, so there's a few things that you definitely want to have on hand when you go to do a pruning of your tank with plants. These are a few things that I definitely got to have. You got to have a towel, because you're going to be in and out of the tank an awful lot, pulling the plants out, trimming them up, putting them back in, replanting them, and all that stuff like that. So it's a very good idea to have a towel on hand. Otherwise, you're going to have a mess in front of your tank down on the floor. Sharp pair of scissors. These two things are probably the two most prominent things that you're going to need, or the at least kind of items. Okay. I also have a kit over here that I picked up. It's nice to have. You don't absolutely have to have it, but it does make the job a little easier. Got some curved hemos, some curved scissors right here, and some straight scissors right here. When you're trimming like lower plants, well, like the Rotella, and if I was going to trim the Blixa, which you can cut Blixa, you can chop it down if you like. I've done it that way, and I've also just weeded it out and thinned it and replanted it and stuff. It does look better when you take the time and weed it out and replant it. But you can use the scissors for that. This particular tool right here is for actually moving around your substrate, the gravel or sand or whatever, to shape it in certain ways. So you wouldn't need this particularly for. These come in very handy, and they are just a curved set of tweezers, long handled. Definitely use them a lot. That's a straight set right there. I use the curved a lot more than I use the straights. But those are the basic tools, and like I say, at least you want a towel and a good sharp pair of scissors. And I do emphasize on the sharp pair of scissors, because the cuttings, when you go to cut these things down, the sharper the scissors are, the easier the cut is, and the less of a chance of you damaging the structure or the stem structure of the plant. So it's going to reroot a lot quicker as opposed to being pinched between some dull scissors and crushing part of the stem itself. So, oh, also I use this, it's the lid for like a Rubbermaid tote or whatever like that, but it works great as a makeshift little table that I can lay all the plants out as I pull them out of the tank to do the cuttings and stuff. So let's move on. Okay. Well, I generally drape the towel up over my shoulder here. I need these right away, so set them off to the side. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull the plants out. And I always remove them from the roots. So you want to grab down real low, shake them off a little bit. I like to get them all in one grab if I can. Okay. Now what I generally do, I like to take and even up the tops on these guys. That way when I do the cut, they should all be about approximately the same height. And if you like to stair step them, or have the little bit shorter in the front type thing, you can also do that. Takes a little bit longer, but that's entirely up to you and what you want the look to be in your particular tank. Doing it this way also allows you to kind of find your shortest plant. That way you know how short to cut. And hack those off. Now these bottoms can be reused and replanted. What will happen, take one of these bottoms. It's not a good one. With some leaves on it. What will happen is you plant it back in with the roots, and where you trimmed up here at this point, what you're going to get is a node where you're going to have two shoots, 2 or 3, depending on the plant, but you'll usually get at least 2 shoots that will come off of this. Now if you're trying to propagate these guys, that's a good way to do it, and you allow those 2 to grow out to a decent size, and then you can clip them individually. You got 2 more plants. So that would be the way you'd go if you want to propagate. With the cuttings, what you want to do is pluck off the bottom leaves. It's good practice to do this. Leave yourself some stem to plant. Some of the stem to plant in, at least 2 inches or so. If you leave the leaves on, what can happen is the leaves will get pushed under the substrate and they will tend to rot, and sometimes they will rot up against the stem itself, and the stem will rot, and then you don't get a good rooting. So it's a good idea to take the extra couple seconds and pluck your leaves up. Okay, we got these trimmed up. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the Cuba. I'm going to grab Cuba down real low, right at the substrate. Pull it slowly. It has a tendency to break off right at the substrate. If you're not careful. Leave part of the stem down in the roots. What's that one? You saw how much water came with that. Now, we'll move this guy since he's already pulled up. It's also a good time to kind of go through and flatten out your substrate, or kind of push it back towards the back again, so you can get your slope. All right. All right. Again, grab another little tray here. Take my ribbons. Free up a little room here. Move this back over here so we get some room to see what we got here. And there's a good example of where it was replanted. Grew off the node, and I got two plants here now. All right. I got plenty of this stuff, so I'm not trying to really save any in particular. There's another one with split off. And another one. So I propagated this quite a bit. Smaller stuff here. I'm gonna see what kind of room I have once I've planted all the bigger stuff, and see if I can incorporate it in, whether it's needed. hopefully our local fish club has got a swap meet coming up this month. If they can ever get a date set solid for it. And if so, I might keep some of these trimmings and take them along, share amongst my fellow fish people. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna kind of do this in a simpler way. I'm just using my finger to burrow the hole, put the plant in. I generally try to give them at least a ½ inch in between each planting. Give them a little space to grow. If you try to clump them together too closely, you end up with a lot of the plant tends to get stemmy, loses its lower leaves. Not enough light gets through to the lower set of leaves, and they tend to wilt and die. Wow. That looks really nice just the way it is. I'm going to go ahead and start putting some little wiggy eye in it. I'm going to get a feel for this after a while when you work with plants long enough. They're just blindly reaching down in and feeling for where the plant's going to go. Get the stem down in the substrate of the right depth. Stuff out because I got a couple of hatchet fish in there that blend in with this stuff sometimes. I lost one when I didn't check one time. Got scooped up along with the trimmings. Before I found out that he was in there, he was going down the long porcelain ride. So what I'll be doing is going through the trimmings. Anything that looks good, viable, and healthy enough, I will probably save off to the side. Hopefully we can get this fish show or swap meet going good, and I'll have something to take to it. The rest of it will just get cut up and put in the compost heap. So another good thing, don't just toss your trimmings out in the yard, the backyard, or a stream, or any of the local lakes or anything like that. Some of these plants we get are pretty fast growing, and they can take to an area, and you might think you're doing a good thing by introducing some of these prettier plants to the local waterways, but that's really not a good thing, because the fish and plants that are already in our local waterways are there for a reason. And if we put other plants that are faster growing and hardier than the ones that exist, they'll kill off and can cause all kinds of problems. So, you have to be kind of eco-friendly with that. So, take them and dry them out or put them on the compost heap. That's the best way to recycle them. Use them as compost and then churn them back into the earth and grow some other stuff with them. So, take you off the stand here and we'll take a look at pretty much the finished product. That will stay beautiful and lush like that for all of maybe a week and a half or so, and by the end of the second week it'll be just like it was when we started. So that's what she looks like. I'm still going to be doing a little bit of trimming on this pennywort, but I didn't think you really wanted to see me drag that out and piece it out and put it back in. That's pretty much simple stuff. You just pull it out as a clump and then pull out the greenest runs on it, and you put them back in the tank, and then the other ones you can either throw in the compost heap or whatever. That's what she looks like. A lot of people talking about dirty tanks and how dirty they are when you go to uproot plants or whatever like that. Well, you can see yeah, there is a little bit of dirt in there, but in an hour from now, the filter will take care of that. So as long as you pull them out slowly when you pull them out from the substrate, if you go to yanking on them and just pulling out big things, and, especially if you've got any real deep rooters like crypts, see I got a crypt back there, or Amazon sword, if you go to moving them around and they're real deep rooters, yeah, you got to be really, really, really slow about how you pull those out, otherwise you're going to get like a whole clump of dirt. But the finer rooters, like the Ludwigia and the Rotella and Blixa and that kind of plant, stuff like that, they're shallower rooters, and they don't hold on to as much dirt. So as long as you pull them out relatively slowly, you don't get much of a mess. But there it is. Hope I was able to give some information to anybody out there that might be getting into the stages of having to start trimming up their plants. Thanks for watching. See you soon.